you have these questions you know are going to piss some people off. How do you? I reckon you come in with some softball stuff in the beginning, and then you sort of bring out the hardware as the interview progresses, or how exactly do you structure?
In most cases, though, these were also people where I actually was interested in their more general views about the crisis and what to do about it, in part because I wanted to see how those views lined up with their personal financial interests. Mm-hmm. And I would have found it, for example, interesting and impressive if somebody who had ties to the financial industry had the courage to say in a very direct way that something needed to be done about this. And what I found, unfortunately, was usually with these people, the first set of questions was their general views about what caused the crisis, about what should be done about it, about what kind of regulation was required, and so on. And unfortunately, what I found was that their general views were very sharply aligned with their personal financial interests, which was not a surprising discovery, but a depressing one. I'd hoped that in at least one or two cases I would find somebody who was willing to go against their personal financial interest in what they said, but none of them.
Is there a way to go back to same policies and regulate the hell out of the markets, and will contemporary capitalism sustain that?
Well. There is a way to go back. I think that what it's going to take, given that unfortunately our political leaders and very, very sadly President Obama have not done anything about this, which I think is a huge tragedy, actually. I think that President Obama, when he came into office, had an amazing opportunity to deal with this problem, and unfortunately chose not to for reasons that I don't know. Now it's up to the American people to get angry enough to force their leaders to act. That has happened before, and I'm optimistic that it can and will happen again. It often takes time. Many people with whom I've spoken recently have voiced the opinion that it's going to require the formation of a third party, that since both political parties were deeply involved in creating this problem, and neither of them seems to be interested in helping to solve it, that it will take either a third party actually coming into power in the United States, or the pressure of the existence of a third party to force either Democrats or Republicans or both to do something.
Or Tea Party. Will the Tea Party be the solution? Is that where you're going?
No, I don't think so. I don't know them well, but from what I've seen of their public statements and the candidates that they've put forward, I don't think that they represent a solution. But I do think that it is interesting that there is enough anger even in that part of the political spectrum that such an effort could arise, and I think it's very possible that we will see the formation of a third party, of a more kind of progressive, centrist, kind, sometime in the future, maybe soon.
Or a form of capitalism that works as it has prior to regulation, as you outlined in your movie.
Is there a way to return to go to a modern but highly regulated and safe financial system? Sure, and we know that because many nations have it. Most of Asia did not have these problems because they have much more regulated and much safer financial systems.
Instances of sociopath and psychopathic behavior are higher in the Western world, particularly places like Wall Street, because often having a conscience there is of no use. I mean, we're going to take over this company and fire 5,000 people. Oh, I have a problem with that. Is that guy a valuable guy on Wall Street? I just wonder, do you believe that there is this sort of sickness attached to it? What do you make of that?
I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but I do think that Wall Street has come to have a culture. This started, I think, 30, 40 years ago, and it's grown and gotten worse since. I think that Wall Street has come to have a culture that is dangerous and is dangerously amoral, and is also dangerously disconnected from reality and from the things that keep normal people from getting out of bounds. You know, if I get in a car here in Los Angeles and I floor it and I try to go 150 miles an hour, then I'm either going to run into something or the police are going to stop me. And what has happened at the upper levels of Wall Street is that there's no controls of that kind because of their personal wealth, because of the power that they've come to have. And there has arisen a culture there, and the film goes into this. And the reason that, you know, the film talks about the cocaine and the prostitution and the private elevators and, you know, all of that stuff, it's, you know, it's not because I care much about their sex lives. It's because it's part of this culture of disconnection and amorality, and anything and everything can be bought and is, and this kind of bubble that surrounds these guys. You know, Richard Fuld having his private elevator, so he only literally has to see people for 2 seconds before he goes up to his private office. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. All right, I believe I have everything I need here. I'll get Ziggy moving along, but